Hi, my name is Tim Hambrick. I'm an extension agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension, and I do the field crop work in a 4-county area. I work for Forsyth, Stokes, Surry, and Yadkin counties, and today we're in Yadkin County, North Carolina, just right outside of East Bend on some land farmed by Shady Grove Dairy. So I want to give Shady Grove Dairy a thank you for allowing me to do this work here. We've got several things going on. I want to thank the Corn Growers Association for the grant money that goes into putting in a lot of these plots, as well as the grant money that's paying for this video right here. And I want to thank Nate Berry and Lightwater Video for being willing to work with me on this. I'm brand new at the video, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we're standing in the middle of the corn official variety test, one of 8 or 9 that'll be scattered around the state. And this is a great thing to have right here in Yadkin County for the farmers that are local, because we're going to have somewhere around 100 different hybrids planted side by side, replicated numerous times in the same field, planted with the same piece of equipment, planted at the same day, all treated the same way. So you get some excellent yield information that way. That's where we're standing right now. You can probably see the alleyway down through here. They're short plots, but they'll come in with a combine. Everything will be combined with just like we would do it on the farm. So it's going to be great information for you guys to have later on. You know, if you're seeing behind me, you can see that there's a lot of slope in this field, and I picked this particular place on purpose. First off, I wanted all this slope to be in this field because that's the kind of ground we farm. So this is what we generally see in the Northwest Piedmont. We have a lot of upland fields like this. Secondly, this is a cover crop farm, and cover crops are a big thing. I wanted to get the cover crop portion into the video, into the test, and I wanted to look at what cover crops would do. And the third thing is, this is a long-term waste receiving field. This gets dairy manure every year. And back up in the corner behind me, you can see a specialist who you'll hear from in a little while. They've got a test looking at this waste and nitrogen rates and things of that nature. So this field is a field that fits our production practices. It's a field that fits the topography that we farm in. It's a field that's got the cover crops, which is an area I think we need to be moving and looking at more seriously. So this is why we're in this particular field. All right, we're here in a weed control plot this time. This is a plot put in by Dr. Charlie Cahoon. He's a weed scientist at NC State. And basically what we're looking at is a pre-emerge system versus a one-pass system. One-pass system's got a little interest right now because corn is cheap and people are looking for ways to cut some cost. If you'll look to my right, down on the ground, I'm straddling a row. And on this side, where you see all this green weed, which is mostly pigweed, we didn't put a pre-emerge down, and you can see we've got competition with that corn already. If you look down the other row, right here on my left, there's a little bit of weeds, and it's mostly pigweed too. Obviously, there's a lot of pigweed in this field, but you don't see nearly the weediness that we see on the other side. This had a pre-emerge. So if you're somebody who believes that weeds compete with your corn and competition is hard on yield, that's where I tend to fall out, then we're probably losing some yield over here where we haven't used this pre-emerge. It's been wet, it's supposed to be wet the rest of the week. We probably will not get this sprayed this week. Those weeds are going to continue to compete, whereas over here on the other side, we don't have nearly the competition, and our corn is using all the nutrients and light and water that it needs. So we'll find out where this goes by the end of the year, but right now I really like the looks of this pre-emerge. All right, I wanted to stop right here for just a second and talk a little bit about pigweed, because obviously there's a lot of pigweed in this field. And with water hemp and Palmer pigweed and things like that running around, we need to be able to know some of the differences. So right here in this spot, I've got 3 different things. I pulled this one and brought it with me. You know, you can see this white watermark. This is a Spiny Amaranth, and probably the best way to tell a Spiny Amaranth from everything else is to grab it too fast, because it's got little thorns at the leaf axils, and you'll know right quick that you've got hold of something that you don't want to get hold of. So that's usually not too big a weed problem in our field, so we won't worry too much about it, but it was right here because we've got 3 different kinds of pigweeds. We also have this one right here, and you can see the bright red down here around the roots. We call that a red root pigweed. You can see farmers and agriculture people are pretty original, but when you're trying to determine a red root pigweed, they're young right now, so it's a little harder to do. but they tend to have hairs on the stems and hairs on the leaves, so they get a little bit rough feeling. And if they're small and little, you may have to get a hand lens to see those hairs. But that's generally a kind of pigweed that we can control very well too, so we don't fear them as much as we do others. Now this particular one right here, if you'll notice, the leaves are much longer, much narrower, not nearly as round, and a little bit more shine to it. There's no hairs on this one. You can feel how much smoother it is. And I'm not the greatest at identifying them when they're very young, but this is either a palmer. I'm hoping that's what it is. We do have a water hemp population across the river in Surrey. I'm hoping that's not a water hemp, because these two, palmer and water hemp both, have much more resistance than anything else that we're fighting with around here. So I've got this thing flagged so I can watch it through the course of the year, let it get a little bit more size. But right now I'm afraid that might be a water hemp, and I don't want to see that water hemp population moving around.
Hey everyone, my name is Stephanie Kaleza. I'm the Nutrient Management and Animal Waste Specialist in the Crop and Soil Sciences Department at NC State. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about an exciting project that we have going on starting this year. So we're looking at long-term manured fields and the impact of long-term manure application on residual nitrogen for corn production. So this project was funded by the North Carolina Corn Growers Association, and it spans the whole state. So we're in counties from Bertie to Rowan at 9 locations. So also, as you know, we have a lot of different manure production industries within the state, lots of animal ag within North Carolina. And so along with that comes different types of manures. So within this study, not only are we spanning the state with our 9 locations, we're also spanning different production systems. So looking anywhere from dairy application all the way to swine and poultry application at different sites. And so this offers us a great opportunity to see the additional benefits of utilizing manure as a fertilizer source as far as how it impacts our organic nitrogen within our soils and how that releases over the growing season. So what we hope to identify with this study is the amount of residual nitrogen available for corn in subsequent years after application. So today we're out soil sampling, identifying the inorganic nitrogen within the soil at V5, side dressing with different rates of fertilizer, inorganic fertilizer, all the way from 0 pounds of application to 225 pounds of application at side dress. And this is to identify what is the optimum application rate in these scenarios. So again, we have all different types of manure application systems, whether that's swine, poultry, or dairy, and we also have field locations across the state. So this gives us an awesome opportunity to see the impact of soil type as well as manure type on that residual nitrogen pool. And so this is the first year of that study. We hope to do it again next year with an additional 10 locations. And I think this will give us a great opportunity to identify whether we can start building a database to look at inorganic nitrogen in season and develop a soil test to help us optimize our side dress application rates. So stay tuned. Again, this will happen again next year. We hope to get a whole lot of information for you. So make sure you keep a lookout for those updates as they come. And we'll definitely be presenting this come winter growing season. Thanks and have a good day.